How's everyone doing tonight? I am just gonna, do the usual. Get it shared onto the page. I am just gonna, do the and then our daily echo. I just want to hop on for a little bit. I promise it won't be long. There's just a few things that I want to address, talk about. I want to go run through, and regain the focus here and talk a little bit about things and, kind of remember who we're here for and let people know who I am here for. Let me just get this shared real quick. Okay, first and foremost, what I want to do is I want to let everybody know that we have a new petition. It is attached to the link if you are watching this now. It would be so awesome if you shared and you signed it just to get, bring that further awareness. We are asking for, Jackson County Sheriff Department and the TBI to investigate, update. It's been 2 decades, and, from, no matter what has been out there, the baseline is nobody knows. And after 2 decades, it would be really nice. The anniversary was just on February 9th. And, it's just time. And that's just pretty much what the petition calls for. We just put it out and I just checked it. It's at 42 out of 100 so far. And we want to just, take that number and keep going. So, yes, just really take the time and share that. I'm going to actually drop it in the chat real quick because I just want everybody to take the time and just share it, or share and sign. It's super easy. I start it. I don't know what that does, but I'm allowed to start. I'm using StreamYard, so I start it, so make it easier for everybody. Oh, where is so I didn't want to take up too much of anybody's time. I try to come on. I apologize. I do. I try to go on, and usually if you hear me say I'm going on, you will see me by the end of the night. And I'm trying really, really hard to adjust to that. So I apologize, and I appreciate everybody still being here because it's really important. So first thing I want to do is talk about, every year, there's a few parents that, since this happened back in 2002. It's cold. It's been 2 decades. So over the years, they call in and ask for an update, ask for a meeting, ask to go over, ask to, they try to light a candle and keep it alive. And from, the gist of it that I get, that just never really happens. Not too much. I mean, they, just talking and they don't know much. And it's heartbreaking. You guys, it is. These are 4 babies. They were teenagers. And so, again, on this anniversary on February 9th, 2022, they made that same call. And I had also, that was the first day that I put out that I made that aware that the anniversary is coming up. And so, I made another post and a video about, just the basic layout at that time. So a few days ago, that they reached back out to me and said, they got a call back. And during that call, it was announced that they agreed to a sit down and a meeting. And I'm getting the details on it. I just found this out very recently, and I'm very shaky because I'm very happy for them and I'm very excited for them. Oh yes, I'm very excited, and I hope that they do learn some things during that meeting after 2 decades. So, yeah, I'm very excited for that. Hey, Jen, I'm glad you're here. So, yes, they will. I hope they the investigators and everybody involved they keep to that. I hope that happens, and I'm very interested to know. Um, so during that conversation, it was vaguely brought up about some YouTuber and not to listen, and and this is just the vibes that they were getting, not to listen, and it's hearsay, and things like that hinder the investigation. And they were vague, they didn't, but I'm the only YouTuber that has made a video on it, to my knowledge. So I know that they are aware, at least that. And then very, very shortly, I was supposed to go on last night, and very, very shortly, I found out, and I'm trying to confirm, because I try to confirm, and I reach out, and we'll get to that in a moment too. I do. So I would really like to know, if are they out there calling people too? I'm hearing that, and I would really like to confirm that. As talking about a podcaster, because I would be very interested in hearing what they were saying. It seems that they are, if I know at least one instance it is confirmed, but um, I just my questions to that, my thoughts on that is, they're out there taking the time to do this. Are they also saying that they're looking into things? Are they taking that same energy to go down that route? Because I would really be interested in that, in knowing that, and if it was true. I know that a lot of things are hearsay, and that's why I really, really do. I will not screenshot the things that are going on behind the scenes and put it out there for everybody. That is a big reason why this works. And if you guys want to think whatever, that's fine. But we are behind here, cross checking between a big, broad, yeah. So, and I can say, at this point, after 2 decades, that seems to be more than what investigator and what is being done. So, I would really like to know if anybody has gotten a phone call. That would be very interesting. Reach out privately, comment, however you feel. This is always however you feel comfortable. And I'll be damned if anybody makes me feel intimidated and giving me them information that I don't feel that they need to know, because that's what they've been doing to you guys for 2 decades, and that's why we're here, I feel. And, I know I'm not going to be liked. I'm really not here for, if you guys go back on scour my page, I am really not here for the likes and follows. If that were the case, I'm in the wrong line of what getting that attention. I don't know. People have been telling me that what I'm experiencing is gaslighting. I really don't know the specifics of what that term means, but I just question, is that what they have been doing to you for 2 decades? So, I just remember, if I wanted the attention, with the Courtney Cash, hers is taken up. She had gotten a news coverage. A few news stations are covering hers now, and that's freaking awesome. So I kind of Austin Johnson himself has reached out to speak to me, and I let people know that I'm not I'm not here to stick to one narrative. And I've paved the way for him to come speak when he's ready. And I've kind of paused because I'm waiting for him. And if that never happens, then I'll swing back around. We'll move on and reassess that. But I always let everybody know I'm here to get the complete picture. So if I wanted likes, Summer Wells case is out of the Tennessee. I could be all over that shit. And, I do want to do an Unraveling Tennessee episode on her because she's out of Tennessee. But my whole page is to do the ones that are forgotten. And I'm sorry, it seems to be Gainesboro 4 has been very sadly forgotten. And I want to know how that's possible with such a horrific event. So I promise you, I'm here for the families. I'm here for Lacey. I'm here for Elizabeth. I'm here for TJ. And I'm here for Joseph. And I'm here for the parents that I've talked to that really don't know much. So I guess I will take the heat. And I just want to know, if they're taking the time to fact check me, are they doing something about it? Because at the end of the day, if they would have done something, we would not be here. And all I've done is given everybody a place to come. So I don't think they ever expected that. And we will sift through and we will get to the bottom of it. And I wonder, as I'm experiencing this, is this how they silenced everybody back then? So. And I just, if there's no base and it's gossip, then why are they? I understand why people are coming at, why you guys are coming at me. I get it, trust me. If you go to my small town and you mention my maiden name, you will hear generations of bad shit. And I've heard it through the town. I would walk into a bar and I would mention my name. And people, I bet you heard some stories. Yeah. And you know what? Through what wasn't and what is and a little bit of this and a little bit of that, yeah. It was true. Yeah. Some of it, yeah. But I'm not them. And I'm, you break the cycle. And those people that are willing to come talk to me are doing just that. They're breaking that cycle. So if you can do that and do it nicely, then by all means, I'm here. So, people are saying that it's closed. Let it go. I have not seen any evidence of it being closed. I have talked to those babies' parents and they don't know that it's closed. Because if it is, then they're the first people that need to know. It is a cold case. And that means it's still open. Not closed, just cold. It has been so compartmentalized. And, given the date it happened, 2002, there wasn't this back then. There were barely phones back then. And I think they're going to find that they're going to have a rough time because behind the scene, some of the parents so far have agreed to this weekend come, I think as far as tomorrow night or Saturday, coming and joining me on my panel. And I want to start by knowing who these babies were. I want to know that. And we will start from there. And I've invited them to come speak on anything that they feel comfortable speaking on. So look out for that this weekend. I am reaching out to and have to talk to a few more to confirm and get a few details. But it's looking, hopeful for this weekend that they'll be joining me here on the panel. So I really hope you guys, subscribe. And it's not for the likes. If you want, I want you to hear them. It's been 2 decades and they've never been able to have this before. And I just want to give that to them. And that's what it's about. So, I've had people reach out to me and they have not been very nice, but through it, there are some pieces and, not very many people are saying this person didn't do it. It's just that it couldn't be proved. I've had somebody say that people are only talking because he's locked up and when he gets out, they'll be all saying hi and things will change then. And from the gist I'm hearing and the fear this man put on this town back then, it just all paints a picture and I'm just trying to we'll sift through it. So the story goes, and then after that, I have a list of things that I am interested in. As far I am here, I'm not here to fight with you guys because we are on the same side. If this would have been taken care of, we would not be here right now. And I promise you, I'm not here for no family tree. I'm not here for any of that. I'm here for this lead. And if there is any other lead, I promise you, we will be talking about it. Please bring it forth because I will. I'm not here to keep this. And if you can bring me proof that this person that is allegedly involved and on top of this had nothing to do with it, please, I will not withhold it. It will be aired. Same with any other lead. So, with that being said, I just want to give a rundown on things that, have been brought forth and put out there by the accounts. So what I'm getting is it may have started a weekend before. There has been talk of, their Cookie may have had it out for one of the victims. He is said to have been talking or sleeping or having some type of relationship with Cookie's ex, and he did not like it. And this war began. It carried out, I'm seeing swiftly throughout the week, and as far as the day before, this happened early Saturday, and I'm trying to narrow it down, and there are some people that have helped me narrow it down a little bit, and I promise I want to put out a timeline. But so that Friday at school, there was an argument overheard about just that and how upset Cookie was. And there are vibes that it was enough threat throughout that week that there's alleged possible staff members that were so aware of this situation. Now Cookie didn't go to this school. They were so aware of the situation that they prepared for it. And I'm trying to confirm this. I want to confirm these facts or these accounts. I want to confirm them as facts or get rid of them just as much as anybody else. So they're saying that staff members were aware of this. In preparation, they waited for Cookie, and Cookie came. So they seen this in action. So, day goes on, school lets out, people go their separate ways. It was talked that this was an event. It was an empty house owned by, now what we know, and I'm very, very safe to say that it was the survivor Derek's grandparents' house, and it was that land. Derek's dad lived on, is said to be behind where that trailer was, but up on a hill. I am, everybody assumed that it was TJ's grandparents' house. So I'm putting it all out there, both sides, of what I can. So we're leaning more towards that it was Derek's grandparents' house or grandparents' trailer. It was vacant. He was not there at the time. He was in a nursing home and he's passing. These people, rest in peace. So it was not somebody's house. It was vacant at the time. So they met up, and I'm trying to piece that all together. When people came, who was there, who left, who, there was talk that people were supposed to go and didn't come. And I feel for them. I get that. That guilt. I do. So they were all there, they were partying. And at some point, this, you have Derek, he goes outside. They're saying that it was kind of at that point died down, and it was kind of, a couples thing, and he was the fifth wheel, so he went to sleep out in the car. And he he is said to have, depending on to where I'm piecing together, I have not had a chance to talk to Derek, but those closest to him are saying that he was hit on the head, knocked out, and he was put in the car. So next thing we know, we have this trailer on fire, engulfed in flames. It is said that the car is on fire, with Derek inside. There has been talk that, and I'm only bringing this into play because of the shady ass coroner that got fired for the stuff that he was doing. We cannot take what he says. And I'm sorry, we cannot. I can't go by off that autopsy. So there has been talk and going around, and many people have, the gist and the talk and the vibes out there, and the accounts are that they were tied up, shot in the head, and the house was and the trailer was set on fire. And it's kind of questionable, you have everybody inside, and this trailer's on fire. Why didn't they try to get out? How didn't they escape? All these questions. And they're very credible questions if you look at the big picture. So, however it went, whatever happened in that trailer, the result was that there were Lacey, TJ, Elizabeth, and Joseph left inside. And they burned. They burned with that trailer. So it is said that Derek's dad from his trailer seen the flames and came to rush. And he pulled Derek out of the car. And by the time he got there, there was no way that they were going to be able to get inside the burning trailer. And there was just nothing that they could do at that point. And, it's very questionable. There are very questionable questions or credible questions surrounding, the survivor and what he knows. He says he does not remember anything, and the last thing he remembers is he was knocked out. And that is not by him. I have not talked to him. This is just by people that were close to him, aware of the situation and around. And it's questionable, So it is said that Cookie was the ringleader, that he either paid or somehow Daniel was there or involved or knew something, some knowledge, some complicity here involved in there. Whether, if Cookie was there, whether he doused the place and Daniel lit the match, whether he was just there and Cookie did it all, however it went down, or he was not there at all, but just knew. We don't know. We don't. So 2 months after this happened, no, so it has been said now, just, recently that, somebody drove by at about 2:30 a.m. and, they described, very, very accurate, very good. And I thank them for that. I do. Because that helps a lot. Just those little details. It doesn't have to be it just anything. It's the little details like that. Because I'm having the fire and the rescue and all that happening around 3, and she just happens to drive by at around 2:30, and the way she described it, she passed it. It's kind of out there, but it's tucked the way it is, so that way when you pass it, you'd look in the rear view and you could see it. So I asked, if it was on fire, if you would think something like that would catch your eye in that rear view mirror, and and yeah, so no. And and that helps, because again, if it wasn't started then, or was it already out, it opened, it's a starting point. And I think that's like the first, starting point as far as that part of the timeline that I've gotten. So 2 months after this happened, Daniel sadly passed away, and the circumstances surrounding that are murky. It's said, and again, when I say that, I am constantly confirming and checking and going over the, it is said that there was no autopsy done, that the death, was it overdose or is questionable. But then I have this whole side over here saying that he was shot. And that's very not questionable. The only question in that is, somebody done it to him, or did he do it to himself? So for it to be that vague, and I understand the family and the privacy of those details, but as far as an investigation, and him being that so close to that as a person of interest, or whatever you want, whatever, what you will, it shouldn't be, So the question remains is, did he kill himself over guilt, or did somebody kill him to silence him? There was talk of a note that he wrote right before, that he may have relayed some information to his father, who's no longer here. But the big question is, how and why? And trust me, I am in deep. I want to know just as much as everybody does, for these families, for those 4 babies, because you'd be surprised the amount of people that reach out, and they are very, and I understand I have a family, but they're worried about Cookie and what's this doing to him, and and as I read these things, the only thing I could think about is, what about the babies that died in that fire? What about the 4 families? Four sets of families, 4 sets of people that loved these people. And that's my focus. So I would really like to know the details surrounding Daniel's, because it is very questionable. Did this no happen? If it was turned over to investigators, there had to have been some record of it. And the question remains. Now, Cookie is said to be is the stepfather of one of Daniel's children. And many people find that kind of crazy. I don't know all the details, but it's just if you look at the big picture, it's kind of crazy, don't you think? And it makes you wonder. So, yeah, I think the people that are coming out and have all these questions, especially after 2 decades, I think that the questions that they have are very valid, are credible, and they need validated. They need answered. So, I know that with, there has been talk of, and I want to confirm these things again. I'm trying to hold some people accountable here after 2 decades. There are talk that Cookie was pulled over that night and there was a gas can in his car. There would be some record of it that could be easily disproved. That he was brought in for a second and let go and no charges were ever filed. There has been talk of there being gasoline on Derek's clothes. There have been talks of Daniel being the one that, there have been things that I want to clear up as far as, and, I will get to that. I have a list here and I'm going to read it. I wrote it out and I'm going to go through it and very quickly, and I'm going to read it word for word, and then I'm going to copy and paste it to my page. So that way everybody can help me fill it in. And I hope by time it's done, everybody's going to kind of figure out where my focus is. And I promise you it's not a family tree. I did that because I put out a big part of the investigation is they stalled it to run down a drug lead. Okay? I posted it for 2 reasons. Look what he can get people to do. And if family is involved, the drug side of it. I mean, do I think if Cookie did this, family knew? Absolutely. I mean, and the gist of it is he was a very feared person. So, yeah, I think it's all pretty credible. It's widespread. It's widespread. It ain't no secret that he's not a very pleasant person, to say the least. So, I wrote this, and again, I'm going to copy and paste this straight to my page, and I'd really like it if people come, please help me fill it in. Excuse me. So I wrote, I just want to clear up that I'm not interested in the Cookie family tree. I was clearing up a very misleading article. I am here for the Gainesboro 4, their parents, and those who love them dearly. They have had their voices shoved down for 2 decades. Who did not get a single shred of justice. I want to know why, and they deserve to know why. I am interested in the fact that the investigation has gone cold due to lack of evidence and credible witness, chalked it all up to hearsay. I am interested in many saying that there was talk before this happened, so much talk that is said that staff member prepared for Cookie's arrival on school property and he came. What day was this? I am interested in the fact that there was said to be a security guard officer, whatever he was called back then, that had students come to him with information, whether he told or nothing was done, or whether he told and nothing was done, or he did not relay the messages, because I also know that there was a note involved. And that's very important. I am interested in the fact of whether or not they went to investigators afterwards with what they knew, if they knew. I am interested in the people that heard Cookie's threats against one of the victims. Then days later, he, along with 3 others, were murdered. I am interested in the fact that everyone thought that the property was one of the victims' grandparents' trailer when it was the survivor's family's property, and that was left in play. I am interested in when everyone arrived at the trailer, who came and left. I am interested in what the survivor has to say. I am interested in why people did not even know about him, why he went to the car, and whose car was it. I want to know if he was Cookie's cousin. That's one that I've been throwing out and I can't seem to find the answer on. I am interested in the fact that survivor's dad seen the fire, pulled him out of the burning car, that the dad lived on a hill behind the trailer. What time did he get burned to? I am interested in where Derek went immediately afterwards. Did he go to the hospital? Did he go home? Did he make a report? I am interested in the time a 911 call was made. Who made it? I am interested in what the bystanders saw that morning, what they heard. Where was the car? When did the tape go up? When did they find them poor babies? When were they removed? I am interested in Daniel, who mysteriously died 2 months after this. From what I know, no autopsy was done. No one knows what really happened. Some say he was the one who lit the trailer and he had guilt and killed himself. Some say he was murdered. I am interested in the fact that Cookie was the stepdad of Daniels. I am interested in what evidence was collected between all of those agencies working together in such a horrible tragedy. It was just lost. Why did TBI not collect the evidence found later immediately and leave it sitting in the jail to be reminded several weeks later, only to finally show up and find nothing? How did Cookie end up with info only given to the TBI? I am interested in the fact that investigators want to say there was nothing credible. Well, if those staff spoke, if they spoke, would you not call that credible? At least to start a criminal investigation. Did they? I'm interested in the fact that everyone knew who did it, yet nothing was done. I am interested how this man was allowed, this family was allowed to be feared and run wild in this town that seems to be lawless. So yes, that brings me to old Sheriff Lynch, who at the mere mention of his name has sent forth both victims and very rude people speaking on his good name, telling me to shut up. No, he did not know Cookie, but I'm very interested in what legacy he left behind, as well as old Thompson, Mahaney, and a few other that were in position to do something. I have credible sources telling me that, yes, he was Cookie's grandfather. So I'm asking for you guys to show me otherwise and to do it respectfully. I do very much believe that the fear that Sheriff Lynch allegedly instilled from a few of the accounts I've read in my comment section paved a way for Cookie to think he was able to, that he could do and has gotten away with a lot in that town. So my fight is not with anybody. And my thoughts and opinions don't matter. I'm not here for that. These are the counts. Of people that cared, and they are brave, and they have been silenced for 2 decades. So it is time. It's time for answers. And if they have enough energy to check me, then they can check this. So that is where we're at. And that is what we want to know. And I would really, like I said, I'm going to copy and paste that, and I'm going to share it to the page. And anybody that is interested in helping me fill it in, I will continue to talk to people that are willing to talk to me. And all those people that are willing to talk to me, we will have your back. We will be here for you. And you will have so much support. And nobody has to know your name. I don't even have, according to me, they weren't interested in it in the first place. So they're going to have to gain everybody's trust just like mine. And I think every question on there were very good, credible questions. What happened February 9th, 2002 in Gainesboro, Tennessee? And why is something that horrific even question if it was an accident? A simple question. Some say that there are people out there that reported it, turned those reports in correctly. And I'm not debating that. They get sent up. I'm not naive. I know how it works. There are some saying that it would be in those reports. There are people that are bravely telling me I did go talk to the TBI. In fact, it was recorded. And if you don't want to go the hearsay off of a bunch of high school kids, which I think is kind of crazy at this point, that there here was a threat, and from the target of that threat ends up dead within that week, I think that's very alarming. And many question if it is just who Cookie is. And I think it's very credible. And we want to know why. There's talk of that whole drug side of it. Then where's that proof? Who did you arrest? What charges did you bring? So, with that being said, I think I have said, go check my page. You will see what I'm here for. I don't care about y'all's. My family, there's talk of incest, rape. You go back. You want to scope me out? Go ahead. You'll find some dirty, grindy shit. But I'm not them. And we need to understand that. And it's time. So I want to know. If they didn't care to hear you, I do. And I'm just putting it in one spot for you. This is what you should have gotten, and you guys should have been taken serious back then. And that's what I'm here to do, wherever it falls. Any of those people that are against this narrative, I will speak to you civilly. I will give you the same courtesy. Come speak to me. And when I made that timeline of those people, if you notice, people in that article let me know that they got it wrong. And you should go yell at them, because they do get it wrong. And I am the first person that knows that. And I'm sorry for that. But when I corrected it, if you notice, I didn't put those details in that little family tree I made out of respect. So I'm telling you, like I said in the Courtney Cat, Austin is more than welcome to come. I've paved that way for him. And I will not let anybody mistreat you like I wouldn't let anybody mistreat anybody else. I'm not trying to be that. I don't want these turned into a circus. That's not the focus here. If I wanted that, I could go cover many high-profile cases out there. Like I said in the beginning, and like these families know, and like everybody in those groups, these advocates, all of these families know. that were here, you know. I have all my PayPal linked here into my page. All that money is sitting, and it's going to go to all these families. You will see billboards everywhere. It all goes to them. There is so much they need before. Do they? I want to make this full time. Do I want to? Do they? Yeah, many of them have told me that. But that's not even something that we're thinking about now. So I'm not trying to do anything here but be a loud mouth and get the LE attention. And it seems that in the Gainesboro 4, I have gotten their attention. I am very glad for everybody that tuned in. I am going to switch over here to the comments now, and I'm just going to kind of go through, see who's all here, and see what's going on. How are you guys tonight? If any of those brave talkers are listening, you are brave. I just want you to know that, and we will have your back. You are part of the Cub family now. There's amazing people. And now, with that being said, I think I'm going to hop off. I see you guys everywhere. We are not we are not our families. Just because we were kids doesn't mean anything. I am so glad you're taking us seriously now. Amen. I'm so glad. I'm very glad. You know, for as many people are out there that are, you know, giving me a hard time, there are people out there that are telling me small towns stay quiet. Yes, they do. And I would just want you to know, I come from a very small town. And if something like this went down in my small town, I would be blowing it up just like this. I tell you that. Yeah, that is very, very much possible. Oh, everybody knows. You asked me, I got a loud mouth. I piss some people off, and I don't mean to. These are not my opinions. You know, is it very credible? Yeah. Is this something that should have been looked into, been taken very seriously? I think so. Wherever that went, as far as the investigation, the chips fall there, but I'm not getting those vibes that they did. And I'm saying they because you know, you have Gainesboro local at the time, and then you have the TBI, you know, and I know shit exchanged hands everywhere, and I know that a few agencies didn't like each other. You know, there are also higher factors out here that could explain why that damn, you know, evidence got lost. But I have very good reason to believe that they at least still have the car, and one of the biggest things about it is, you know, was the car on fire or not? And if they have that locked up tight, I think after 20 years, they could snap a picture and they could really clear up some of this hearsay. But I think that's where they really like you. That's where they want you to be, is all in the midst of this. And, you know, they want to say people like me are hindering the investigation. And I want to ask, after 2 decades of them doing nothing, what am I hindering? So the ball is in their court now. You know, they have their meeting. I'm holding them accountable. What was I saying? Is it Foursquare where you check? I know it's checkers and chess, you know, but isn't it Foursquare? Because that's what I was going to say. We could either play Foursquare, checkers, or chess, but check. So I'm going to leave it in their court for a while. Like I said, I hope they get their sit down. I'm holding them accountable to that. They reached out and said that they agreed to a meeting, and I hope it's not just about how that YouTuber is talking shit, and they really have some credible answers and some answers that they could give to these families after 2 decades. Very much. I have to wonder where they have the car stored at, because I know which tow yards. I don't know. As From what I hear, it's been locked up, but if it is, I would like to know, I would like to very much verify if it was demolished, which would be sad. That would be terrible. That would be absolutely heartbreaking. But I know that we must be doing something together, you guys, because we struck a nerve. And when I started my page, and more specifically, Lisa Key, her son Aaron Shane Key is also out of Tennessee, and that is a wild and out case, you guys. Um, she brought me in, and she let me. She showed me this, and all I said was, they had this private group, and these families, people are scared. I get it. People have to check me, and I let them know. They ask me, "Who are you? How are you connected?" And I'm not. I promise. I started this page vaguely, and she just took me in and said, "Hey, you know, come check out this group and see what you can do." And I've been in there for a while now. Um, October? I don't know if Lisa's usually on here. I think I've been in there since October I met you. And she let me in, and she showed me, and I sat and I watched, and I got to know these families, and you know, I don't know, maybe I'm biased. I spent a long time in Kentucky at Boonesboro. Like State Park summers. So, and I assessed it. I looked around. I seen people were telling their stories. They were starting to step out of their boxes, or their little safety zones, and starting to give bits and pieces. And as me, I like to read, I like to watch, and I like to listen. And one, it was about, okay, we have more than Lisa. We have more than we have a good start here. Now we have Josh. Now we have Caitlin. Now we have this group of people that can say it's not just a fluke. And now that we have, because I've talked to Lisa for a while now, but I said, Lisa, I love you. She's my mama bear. She's my first unraveling. Um, Tennessee family. And I said, Lisa, it's going to take more. It's going to take more. And I think her talking really, really paved that way. And now we got more. And now look where we are. And I said, I'm a loudmouth. I said, if you can get people willing to come publicly speak with me, we can put them all together, give them their own series, put them together, and start getting this known outside the group. Yes, he does. Daniel deserves justice too. Yes. And I agree. Yes, he does. Every single person impacted in this deserves justice all the way up. I mean, and it's just even the people that are affected by what's it, because and what I know about my family, like I said, you sift through it all. There's a little bit of truth in everything. And I'm sorry for the people that feel like collateral damage to get to that. But you should sign this petition, and you should call your local Gainesboro department, and you should call the TBI and let them know and tell them to do something. Let them know. Go tell. I'll take go tell them that YouTuber spouting off at the mouth again. You guys better shut her up. Do something. And do that by investigating. May I just add, not by telling people not to listen. That would be a good start, because that's classy. So the ball's in their court. Yeah, I see it. I'm loving the support, not just for me, just for the families and everybody coming together And that's all this was meant to do. And we will sift through the murky. It's going to be murky. 2-decade old, and y'all were silenced. It's going to get a little murky, but I promise you, I don't care about all the I don't. I just want to sift through enough to paint a nice picture of a lead that was forgotten. And I would paint, if there was another lead, I would paint that lead just as much. A lot of things in Gainesboro that have been pushed under the rug. Cookie was feared way before the time this happened. Everyone was afraid of the entire family. And and that's as like with the whole Sheriff Lynch, which he has 3 names. I'll just stick with Sheriff Lynch. Everybody seems to know who that is. But I'm sorry for that confusion. He just had so many names. I just didn't know. Everybody was calling. I thought we were talking about at one point about 3 different Lynch sheriffs, and I'm just like, or like LE, and I'm just like, wait. So was the baby or the dad, grandpa, brother, who? And it was just the same person. So I apologize for that. I can see why they'd be scared because of what happened. And, I think going back, if, with dealing with Sheriff Lynch, you seen that I mentioned him one time, and you seen how many people came and commented and said he was the fault, he was the one. So I think it's very credible to, I feel like, and my question is, what is the fear in those those good old boys that put that in those families? Did that pave way for whether he claimed him or not? That's a powerful last name to have in that town, apparently. Did that pave way for this? They're very, so I think it's very relevant. And, the people that are telling me, oh, those people are not nice. And if I was one to screenshot and post people's, though, I wouldn't do it to the people that talk. I'd be doing it to the people who are nasty in this man's good name. I won't lie and say I'm a little intimidated. I was supposed to go live last night, but amazing people remind me why I started this. I'm a loudmouth. I knew that I could come up on here. I told them, didn't I tell y'all? I said, now if you let me do this, I promise you the end result is going to be somebody's going to some bigwig's going to call me out. And allegedly, well, I can confirm at least one, but there have been talk of families getting called out talking about some podcast or 2. And I would really like it if you're one of those families to let me know. So yeah, I understand. I can see it. And so I think maybe, if he was that feared and they were that feared, I think it's relevant until it's not. And if it's no longer relevant, I promise I won't beat a dead horse. I promise I won't. Thank you, Jed. Thank you for signing. Thank you for signing. Thank you for signing. Where is it here? Let me share screen. I'm trying to learn how to do comments talk. Like I said, I always work behind the scenes. In major groups, I did cover the high profile cases, and that's what kind of got this in my, they all deserve it. And I do know the pain that a murder or a situation or a missing person can cause. I see it in my own family. My mom was like 3 months shy of giving birth to me when her brother was murdered. And, just the type of person he was, it's mixed emotions. And I have to say I agree with both sides because of who he was. And, what comes down to it is he was saved and going to church at the time, and at the time he was murdered. And many people have mixed emotions about that. But I see the pain in my family. I'm 32 now, so that was 32 years ago. I know at least, but I don't know very much, and I'm finding out. But I see that. I see that pain and I see that divide, and I see very much how painful is the mention of bringing his name up is still. So, yeah. And I get the idea of privacy. I get the idea of, here, I got this. I had to go get the privacy. I'm going through my own shit. I had something happen to me, and that's the thing. Things do get buried. That all contributes to why I'm doing this. Things get buried. 11 years ago, I had something happen. I reported it immediately within that same facility, and I walked out of there, and it got buried. About 2 months ago, investigators knocked on my door and said they've been looking for me for a while now, and it is very much open, but it never left that facility after I asked them before I left, do I need to go make a police report? I had somebody witness. What happened? Just happened to just glance and give some credibility to what I'm saying. And it still got buried and never left that facility. And when that lawyer reached out to me, you know what I said to him? I said, I need to ask you, you're not with him. I'm not going to open up, because I've opened up to very few people that could have did something in that facility, and nothing was done. And he was very nice to me. He was very reassuring. And I tell you what, the way these families that I started this come tell me that they're getting talked to in these situations are disgusting. And it's terrible. So we just made this, you guys, not too long ago. In 87. Can you guys see it? Let me cross over real quick. Yeah, 80. Here, let me take my, I guess don't leave me on here. 87. And we just posted. I literally just made this. This is my first petition, so I'm sorry, but I just made this. Let me hide this. Right, just a little bit ago. I'm not sure. I say on my Facebook, but we are already up at 87. And I want to surpass 100. When I made that first post about Lacey, Joseph, TJ, and Elizabeth and their anniversary, that reach, and I'll go look and I'll update it, that reach within that time frame got 58,000 reach within hours. And all I'm saying is, if we get all those people to sign this petition, it would be awesome. So, yeah. I am going to hop off here. I think that is just about wraps it up. I hope that everybody has a bit more understanding of where I am and where I stand. So just before I hop off, I just want, I invited the parents to come, and I'm hoping that this weekend that will be done. I have a few more that I need to reach out and reach back and confirm. So please look out for that. Subscribe. This is where it will be. And as soon as I get that time and day, I will make the broadcast, and you guys can set a reminder. So please come with an open heart. Please come with a very, very understanding. Let's remember that these were teenagers, and I was wilding out. And we just need to remember that parents, they only know so much. And when they have had their chance to speak, I am thinking about doing a night where because they've never had that. And out of respect, that's what needs to happen first. Absolutely. The first thing that needs to happen before anything goes anywhere other than just bringing awareness and stirring up, getting everybody well aware that we're here, is they need to speak. And after that, I plan on doing a what I want to call is a link drop night chat. And I'm going to come on here like this, and I'm going to take my link to join me on screen, and I'm going to drop it literally in my live chat. And I'm going to have, ask people to keep helping me keep it going, and anybody that wants to join on. Even if you want to come talk about who Lacey, Joseph, TJ, and Elizabeth were as friends, I want to know. And I'm sure their moms and their dads and their loved ones want to know who they were, from your perspective. And I want to know. So, yeah. And then, anybody that wants to be brave enough to come talk about what they know. Anybody that wants to click that link and come share. You can do it anonymously. You have control of that before you hop on. You can have whatever you want your name. You can choose to show your face or not show your face. That is all up to you. So, yeah, I will be setting that up after the parents come and they're able to speak. The trailer was off of Sugar Creek Road, right? Not like, the address it gives is kind of an off road, but it was really like off of, it's that was the road, is Sugar Creek Road, right? And what I want to do now that thanks Cass for bringing that up. I want to take that if anybody knows where everything was back then. I would really like to, on Google Maps, blow up that area and, put the X where the trailer was, put an X where Derek's dad's trailer was. Neighbors, and I'm not, I don't want them named, unless they agree to, but kind of put an X mark where all these trailers were at the time of this happening. I would love that. It just would give a lot of perspective. So if anybody's crafty and has a little bit of time, yeah, go on Google Map, blow it up, X the trailers, and where everybody was in that area. I would love that. And send, excuse me, send that in to me. I am not artsy. I will here. You know what? Just give me 1 second. Ooh. And I will show it. Actually, because I can share screen. I'm sorry, guys. You guys got to remind me of these things. So let me stop share screening that. Yeah, sign the petition. It's very fresh. It's, they've never gotten this in 20 years. Back then, they and that goes with evidence that they didn't lose. This was 20 years ago. Could you imagine what could be done today if everything was redone? The coroner, I'm not a coroner, and I don't know too much about that side, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I think that's enough grounds to have the bodies, respectfully and with permission to have them exhumed and retested, because that coroner was just he got fired for some crazy shit. If you guys are on my page, you can look that up and you can see just what I'm talking about. Okay, I got this on screen here. Let me go back and share it. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff. Well, it is sleeting rain here, and my internet I'm going to hop on there before it cuts out on me all again. So yeah, if anybody wants to pull out that map and space, would also you guys have a good one.